Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you guys. Can you quickly reply to me, guys, whether I'm audible or not? I hope I'm audible to all of you guys. Can you quickly reply to me, guys, whether I'm audible or not? All right, I'm sure that I'm audible, right? And we should quickly, start with today's session. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our channel. Guys, today, we are going to discuss some very good sets on DI, right? As we usually do in DI practice, series. Okay. So in the last session, we had done, two sets of tables, right? We did one completely and one set I gave you for the homework, right? So today we'll be discussing one new set and one set which we had done in the homework in the last class. That also we are going to discuss, right? So let's first start the first set, right? Set of the table. Let me read it first. The set says that table 3.6 shows the domestic sales of car by 5 manufacturers from 1995 to 2000. All right, you see that from 1995 to 2000, right? All the figures are in thousands. All right, all the figures are given in thousand numbers. Okay, so that basically shows the sales, right? And since nothing is given about that sales is about the volume or about the value, so usually we consider the sales as given on volume, right? Means unit wise, okay? Means you can say what? That in 1985, 440,000 units are being sold of, manufacturer A. Like this we can assume it, right? Okay, so let's quickly start with the questions. It doesn't have very difficult questions, right? Good thing is that, okay, the first question says that considering the period given, the domestic sales of which manufacturer is the highest? Okay, considering all the period, we have to find out that which period has the, which which manufacturer has the highest sales. So do you guys remember we have 5 manufacturers from A to E, and we have 6 years journey from 95 to 2000, right? So we have to find what that in the whole journey or in the whole given period, right? You need to find the domestic sale is highest of which of the manufacturer. Domestic sales is highest of which manufacturer. This is what we have to find out. Okay, so basically we have to compare all the manufacturer, that which manufacturer is having the total sales highest in the whole journey, right? This is what we need to find out. So look at the options, guys. In the option we have 4 manufacturer A, B, C, D, right? So we can even ignore the manufacturer E if you want, right? Or a lot of people do what? They basically find the total sum of the sales of all the manufacturer, right? But guys, you need to understand they're not asking the total sales, right? They're just asking that which manufacturer has the highest sales. Means this is a question of, you can say, comparison, right? It's not about calculating everything. It's not about finding the total sales. It's about comparing. Okay, so how can we do that? Okay, look at this. If you look at manufacturer A first, right? So in 1995, manufacturer A has the, you can say, in 95, which manufacturer has the highest sale? You can write like this. So in 1995, manufacturer E has the highest sales, right? Simple. In 1986, if you see, manufacturer A has the highest sales. In 1987, again, manufacturer A has the highest sale. In 1998 also, manufacturer A has the highest sale. In 1999 also, manufacturer A has the highest sale. In 2000 also, manufacturer A has the highest sale, right? So you see that in all the years except 1995, manufacturer A has the highest sale, right? So A can have, you can say competition only with manufacturer E, right? Nobody else. A can have competition with only manufacturer E, not with any other manufacturer, right? So we can just compare A and E, that's it. Why do we need to compare any other manufacturer, right? And if you look at the options, manufacturer E is not present in any of the options, so that's it, right? We can say manufacturer A should have the highest sales, that's it, right? Even if, let's say, if manufacturer E is present in the options, we can compare it, right? We can compare that also. See, in 1985, manufacturer E is 40 more than A, right? You can see that, manufacturer E is 40,000 units more than A. In 1986, manufacturer A is 40,000 more than E, right? Now in the others, see from here you can say the equal thing has happened, right? The sum of the manufacturer A and E is equal in the first 2 years, and after that you see that manufacturer A is definitely more than manufacturer E. That means in overall period we can say that manufacturer A has more sales than manufacturer E, and this is how we can say the answer has to be manufacturer A. Yes, Aryan, we are trying our best, to continue. I hope this question is clear to each of you. And we will continue, Aryan, don't worry about it, right? We'll anyways continue this. Guys, just tell me that is this understood or not to all of you? Is that clear to each one of you or not? Okay, I'm assuming this is clear, right? Guys, please reply, okay? Please reply down as well, right? Okay, let's move ahead. Now let's try question number 2, right? Here comes the question number 2. That's also an easy one. It says, what is the approximate share of domestic sales of cars of the manufacturer B during 1996? All right. What the question says, what is the approximate share of domestic sales of cars of the manufacturer B during 1996? Means we need to find that in 1996, what is the share of sales of the manufacturer B? Simple, right? Okay, and options are given in percentages. That means we need to calculate in percentages, obviously, right? We need to go in percentage only. So look at that. Okay, in 1986 we have to work. Let me erase all of that which we had discussed before, right? In 1986, what is the total sales? Let's add it first, right? So 480 plus 410 plus 390 plus 380 plus 440. 410 plus 390 gives you 800 first of all, right? It is 800. And this is 820, so 1620, 1620 and 80, 1700. 1700 and 400 gives you 2100. It's like this, right? So in 1986, the total sales is 2100, we can say that. And manufacturer B has the sales 410, right? So we just need to find that 410, the sales of manufacturer B is what percentage of the total sales of 1996, which is 2100, right? So this is what we need to calculate, that 410 is what percentage of 2100, right? So this is the only calculation we need to do. Look at the options. Options are 10, 25, 15 and 19.5, right? So we just have to see that which option is the best one, right? So guys, you know that if you are talking about 2100, right? So what is 10% of 2100? 10% of 2100 we can say is 210. What is 20% of 2100? We can say it's 420, right? And this number is 410, which is slightly less than 420, right? Which is very much, or you can say slightly less than 420. That means we can say 410 is slightly less than 20% of 2100, right? We can just say that. Or you can say it's approximately 20% or slightly less than 20%. So best option among them will be option number D, right? We do not need to calculate much. We can do the approximation by the help of the options. Hope this is clear to everyone, guys. Please let me know if this is clear or not. Okay, the people who are watching, hope this is clear. Hans, Aryan, Sani, Sojan, Devang. Please let me know if this is clear or not. Oh, Hans wants me to explain again. Okay, Hans. See, I hope you understood the question, right, Hans? The question says, what is the approximate share of the domestic sales of cars of the manufacturer B during 1996, right? What is the approximate share of domestic sales of cars of manufacturer B during 1996? Means in 1996, we have to find the percentage share of manufacturer B, right? We have to find the percentage share of the sales of the manufacturer B out of the total sales of 1996. So what is the total sales of 1996 first of all? The total sales of 1996 when we had calculated, it came 2100, right? And what is the sales of the manufacturer B? That came to be 410. So we just need to find out that the sales of manufacturer B 410 is what percentage of the total sales of 1996, 2100, right? So we just need to find that 410 is what percentage of 2100, right? This is what we had to find out. Now, we can either calculate it all or we can do the approximation, right? So I just saw the options, and options are quite far, right? Quite far away. So in such kind of scenario, option checking can be a good tool, right? Because options are not close, right? Options are 10, 15, 19 and 25. So we can use option checking in such cases. How did I do option checking? See, the base is 2100, right? So I just checked 10% of 2100 because finding 10% is always easy. 10% of 2100, we can say 210, right? Simple. Dividing by 10, 2100 divided by 10 is 210, right? 20% is double of it, so it must be double, means 420. We can just say it should be 420, right? So 20% is 420, and here we had to, check 410. And 410 is very much close to 420, right? We're extremely close to 420. That means answer should also be close to 20%. And close to 20%, the only option here is option number D, right? That's why I just clicked option D as the answer. Hans, is this clear now? Just let me know quickly. Mr. Hans, hope this is clear, right? Okay, now let's move to the next problem. Okay, great, Hans. Let's move to the next problem. Question number 3. It says what? During 2000, the sales of the which manufacturer has shown the maximum percentage increase over the previous year? Okay, again a very good question based on percentages, right? They're asking that during 2000, the sales of which manufacturer has shown the maximum percentage increase over the previous year? Okay, so 2000, where is 2000? This is 2000, right? Okay, so we have to find in 2000 which manufacturer has shown the maximum percentage increase in the sales over the previous year, means over 1999, right? Look at the options. The options are A, B, C, D. So we may, ignore option, you can say manufacturer E for this question, right? We should only look at option A, B, C, D, or you can say manufacturer A, B, C, D, right? Okay, by the way, what is percentage increase? We all know the basic formula of percentage increase is what? That increment upon, initial value, right? Percentage increases increment upon initial value divided by 100, right? Divided by 100 is something which you can ignore, okay, unless it is extremely must. We can ignore multiplying by 100, right? So let's look at all the manufacturer one by one. So you see that manufacturer A, guys, is not increasing anyways, right? So we should eliminate manufacturer A. It's not of any use, right? Because there is no increase in manufacturer A. Simple. Let's look at the other manufacturers, manufacturer B, C, D, right? B is increasing by 10, okay? The increase is 10 and initial value is 420, okay? So we can write it down, 10 and initial value is 420, okay? So for B, the increase is 10 and initial value is 420. All right, let's write down for all the manufacturer one by one like this. For C, the increase is 75 and initial value is 420 again, all right? 75 and 420, let me write this. Okay, what about D? For D, similarly, we see that the increase is how much? The increment is 60 and initial value is 440, right? The increase is 60 and initial value we have is 440. So this is what we have so far, right? With BCD, we know the increase and also the initial values, right? Now let's think about that which have the maximum increase. So guys, I told you that increase, percentage increase comes by multiplying by 100, right? Okay, either we can find out the percentage increase of in all of the manufacturers, but that will be too much time taking, right? But calculation will be very lengthy. And anyways, the question is about comparing. They are not asking to find the percentage increase. They're asking that which manufacturer has the highest percentage increase. Means the question is about comparing, not about calculating again, right? So when we have to compare these three fractions, you can say that. So we can always eliminate the common terms. Simple, right? For example, 100 is common in all of them, right? So we can just eliminate 100 for a while. We can just eliminate 100. So this will become 10 upon 420 only, right? This will become 75 by 420 only, right? And this will become, we can say, 60 by 440 only, right, guys? So this is how we can eliminate the things, right? Okay, now what? Okay, in these two fractions, guys, if we compare, right? In these two, if you have to compare, so you can see that the denominator is same for both of them, right? The denominator is same. So when the denominator of two or more fractions is same, it's very obvious that the fraction with the highest numerator is, greater, right? So this fraction will get eliminated, simple as that. So this will be left out and this is still left out. So we can say we have two fractions to compare, right? We just have to compare two fractions, simple. Okay, now I'm sure, see, I can compare them in a lot of ways, by the way, right? But why to go with the difficult method, since when we have the easy method, then why do we go with the difficult method? So there is a very easy method, guys, I would like to tell you. See, I'm sure you all know one very basic property of fractions, as we had discussed. If two fractions have same denominator, then the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. If two fractions have same numerator, then the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater. I'm sure you know that. When two fractions have the same numerator, then the fraction with the smaller denominator is always a greater, right? So if you look at these two fractions, right, in the end we have to compare this and this, right guys? We just have to compare these two fractions. Now you see that in these two fractions, numerator is greater for which fraction? Numerator here is 75 and here is 60. So numerator is greater for this fraction, right? So this fraction should be greater according to this logic. But obviously we have to check the denominator as well. Now denominator, see, for denominator, what is the rule? If denominator is smaller, then the fraction is greater, right? So in these two fractions, which fraction has a smaller denominator? This one has a smaller denominator, right? So in both the ways, this fraction is getting higher and this is getting lower, right? This is getting smaller. So we can say overall this fraction is greater and this is smaller, and among all of them this fraction is greater, which comes from manufacturer C. So answer also has to be manufacturer C. So this is how we can do the things faster. I hope you guys understood it. Everyone, did you understand this method? Just let me know, did you understand the method or not? All of you? Is this method clear? See, if you are new, then you have to work a little bit with this method. But if you are able to understand, trust me, it will help you a lot, right? In future, it's going to help you a lot. All right, that's good. Everyone is able to understand that. So we can move to the next problem now. Next problem is pretty simple actually, right? What they are saying, in respect of which of the following combinations is the sales of the cards highest over the period shown, right? In respect of which of the following combinations is the sales of the card highest over the period shown. So basically we have to find in the whole period in which combination among the given options the total sale is the highest, right? The sales is the highest. Okay, so you see that, guys, which having in this whole table, where we see the highest sales, right? So highest sales you see so far is 500, 520, right? This looks like the highest sales with the manufacturer A. In manufacturer B, there is no 500 so far. In manufacturer C, no 500. In manufacturer D, 500 is there, but 520 is still the highest. With manufacturer E, there is no 500. So by far we can say that this manufacturer, having the highest sale. Which manufacturer, guys? Manufacturer A, right? And which year? 1999. So that's the only thing we had to do, right? So manufacturer A in year 1999 is having the highest sales. So we can say answer has to be option D, right? Very easy question. Isn't it, guys? That was an easy question. All right, I'm sure this must be clear to you now, guys. Okay, I hope you have taken, the screenshot of this, guys. Quickly take a screenshot of the whole table, right? So that I can give you some questions to solve as well. Just take the screenshot of this, right? And then why don't you try to solve this question? Very easy question. Question number 5, an easy problem. Let's see how much, guys, you are also focusing, right? Everyone, are you doing it or not? Good afternoon, Sakshi. Sakshi, I have given a question to solve, right? There's no answer so far. It's not that difficult. Okay, maybe I need to solve. What the question says that for which of the manufacturers, for which of the following manufacturers, there is a consistent increase across the given years. There should be, a consistent increase across the given years, and the manufacturers we have are A, B, C, D, right? Okay, let's see for which of the manufacturer this is happening, right? We have to check it one by one, right? So guys, in options we have only A, B, C, D. We do not have manufacturer E, so we can avoid thinking about manufacturer E right now. Let's only think about the manufacturers A, B, C, and D, right? So let's see which manufacturer has the consistent increment. So let's look at manufacturer A, 440 to 480 increment, then 470. So there is a decrement, right? So you see that there is no consistent increment with the manufacturer A. It has got decrease in one of the years in the journey, right? Okay, let's look at the other manufacturer now. One by one, right? We have to check all the four manufacturers one by one. Has not worked. It's okay. Let's look at B now. B from 400 to 410 increase, 410 to 415 increase, 415 to 415 did not increase, right? The question is that it should increase. It even can't be constant. It has to be increase only, right? So that's why manufacturer B also does not, work in this list, right? It's not also the answer we can say. Look at manufacturer C, 380 to 390 increase, 390 to 390 again does not increase, right? It has to increase only, no other possibility. So manufacturer C also is not the part of the answer, right? Look at manufacturer D now, 360 to 380 increase, 380 to 400 increase, 400 to 415 increase, 440 increase, 500 also increase. So yes, manufacturer D is the one which is increasing consistently in the given period, right? Option E we do not need to check. Anyways, it is decreasing. You can see that, right? And manufacturer E is not in the option. So anyways, you can ignore checking manufacturer E. So only manufacturer D is the one which is consistently increasing in all the years, right? In the whole period. Simple question. Okay, I'm sure this is easy to understand to all of you, and that's why I'm moving to the next problem. Is anyone has any doubt? You can guys write to me, okay? You can write in the comment if there is any doubt you're facing. All right, let's move to the next problem. This is also easy, by the way. The question says that how many of the manufacturers have never shown a decline in the number of cars sold in any particular year over the previous year, right? How many of the manufacturers have never shown a decline? We have to find out that how many manufacturers have never shown a decline in the whole period, which we are given, all right? So let's look all the manufacturers one by one, right? This time we have to count that how many manufacturers have never shown a decline, all right? Okay, so manufacturer A increasing and then decreasing. So guys, this manufacturer will not be counted because it is decreasing compared to the previous year. And they have said what in the question? They have said that which manufacturer has never shown a decline, but manufacturer A has shown a decline. So manufacturer A should not be the part of the answer because it has shown a decline over here, right? You can just see that. Coming to manufacturer B now, 400 to 410 increasing, 410 to 415 increasing, 415 to 415 constant. Guys, constant is also fine, it should just not decrease. Okay, it should just not decrease, constant is also fine. Then increasing and then increasing again. So manufacturer B is, we can say, at least not decreasing, right? Question is about that which manufacturer should not decrease. So we can say that manufacturer B has not decreased compared to the previous year in the whole period. Similarly, let's test for manufacturer C, increasing, constant, increasing, increasing, increasing. So this is also increasing or constant in the whole period. It's not decreasing for sure. So this is also, the part of the answer, manufacturer C. Let's check for manufacturer D now. 360 to 380, increasing, 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 increasing the whole period, right? So this should also be the part of the answer. Let's look at the last manufacturer, 480 to 440. So it is decreasing actually, right? You can just see that. This one is decreasing, then constant, then decreasing, then increasing, then increasing. But it has been decreased 2 times in the whole journey, right? So we can say manufacturer E should not be the part of the answer. Only 3 manufacturers, B, C, and D, should be the part of the answer. So we can say yes, answer is 3 manufacturers, means option number C. All right. So this is how we are able to solve this problem. Anyone, any doubt? Please let me know if you are facing any doubt over here. Everyone, can you please let me know if there is any doubt? All right, I'm assuming there is no doubt with this, right? And let's move to the next problem. The next problem is that how many times the number of cars sold is more than 450 for any manufacturer in any year, right? Okay, they are saying what? How many times the number of cars sold is more than 450 for any manufacturer any year? A manufacturer can have more than once achieve this feat as well. Okay, manufacturer can have more than once achieve this feat as well. Okay. So we just have to find that how many times the car sold by any manufacturer should be more than 450. It should be 450,000 because remember in the table they were saying that the data is given in the thousands, right? Okay, let's quickly see that how many times it's happening, right? Okay, the sale should be more than 450. So this is one time, you see that, right? One time. This is the second time. This is the third time. This is the fourth time, and this is the fifth time, right? So with the manufacturer A, it happened 5 times, right? Okay, with manufacturer B, if you see, it does not happen at all, right? It doesn't happen. you can see that all the sales data is given that is less than 450. So this is also not true, right? Look at manufacturer C. So here only one time it happened that the sales is more than 450. So answer has to be 1, very obvious. Look at manufacturer D. Only one time it happened, right? Last year 2000 that the sales is more than 450. Okay. Look at manufacturer E. One time here and only one time, right? In the whole period. With manufacturer E, only one time it happened that the sales is more than 450,000. So in all, you see that 5 plus 1 plus 1, 8 times, the manufacturer, the sales is happening more than 450. So yes, we can say the answer has to be 8, right? Which is option number, C for us, all right? So this is how we are able to solve this particular question. I hope this is clear to all of you, right? Alright, so this is where we are done with this set as well, right? Anyone any doubt with this set? If there is, you can quickly ask me. Is there any doubt? Anybody? Okay, I'm assuming there is no doubt since no one is asking anything. Now guys, this set is done and after that, there is one more set. For that, I just need to, change this PPT. Just give me a second, right? Okay, so this is another PPT. Right. Okay, this is another set which we had started in the last session as well, but we could not finish. So right now we are going to, finish this one, right? Okay. Fine. This is a very good set indeed, right? About, it has some difficult problems as well. So I'm sure you will get to learn a lot with the help of this set, right? Okay, the set says first of all that the table 3.4 gives a breakup of the revenue earned by fee stream private limited over a period of 5 years, right? All figures in the table are in crores, right? All the figures are given in the rupees crores. Okay, the table gives a breakup of the revenue earned by the fee stream private limited over a period of 5 years. All the figures given in the crores, right? Okay, it's about the revenue. So what are the heads, by the way? We have hardware. In hardware also we have 2 heads, domestic and exports. Then we have software. In software also you see we have 2 heads, domestic and exports. Then we have some peripherals, training, maintenance, others, and this is the total revenue given to us, right? So this is what we need to try. Okay, look at the questions. Question number 1. This is what we had done in the last class, but let's cover it again. It says that in which years the hardware export lie between 35-40% of the total revenue for fee stream. Okay, in which years the hardware export lie between 35 to 40% of the total revenue for fee stream. Hardware export. Where is that hardware export, guys? Hardware export, if you look at this is hardware export we have, right? Okay, let me look at that. This is hardware export they are saying. So they are asking that in which year, in how many years or which year, the hardware export revenue is around 35 to 40% of the total revenue. And total revenue we have over here, right? We can see that. Okay, so look at the options. See, the data is from 94 to 98, 99, right? So 94, 95 is any option? Yes. 95, 96 is there. I was just, you can also see that, right? If, we can ignore calculating for any of the years. So let's see if any year is missing in the option or not. So we have 94, 95, we have 95, 96, we have 96, 97, 97, 98, 98, 99. Yes, we have all of them. So we cannot ignore, checking any of the years. We have to check all of them. Okay, no problem. Let's start with 94, 95. Okay, 95, 96, 95, 96, 97, 97, 98, and the last one is 98, 99. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write the total, you will say the revenue first, and then you will see that the hardware export is in this range or not, right? So let's write the total revenue of all the years first. So for 94, 95, the total revenue is 2048, right? Let's write it 2048. For 95, 96, it has to be 2126, right? We can write it 2126. 96, 97, the total revenue is 2500. Okay. Then the next year, total revenue is 5048. Okay. And in the last year, the total revenue is we have 4847, right? Okay. Now let's also write the revenue of the head they are saying, which is hardware export, right? So let's write the revenue of hardware export of all these years as well. So 94, 95, the hardware export revenue is 540, then 600. okay, 540 and then 600. Next year it is 730, 1770, right? 730, 1770, 730, 1770, and the last year it is 1827. All right. So this is the data do we have, right? I have written the total revenue of all the periods, and I also written the revenue from hardware exports in all these years. Now we have to check that in which year the revenue from hardware export is uh, is in the range of 35 to 40% of the total export, total revenue, sorry. Okay, so how do we do this problem? Uh, we have to do some basic calculation, guys, right? Okay, look at the total revenue. Either you can do one thing, either you find out the revenue from hardware export is what percentage of the total revenue, but that will take a lot of time. So, or you can do some, approximation, some hit and trial. How? Let me show you that. Okay, since this is the total revenue, right? So we can actually find that what can be 35% to 40% of the total revenue, right? So calculating 35% is not a big deal, guys. 35% you can say 30% plus 5%, right? 35% is 30% plus 5%. 30% is 3 into 10%, and 5% is half of 10%, right? So if we start with the first year, 2094 to 95, so what is 35% of the total revenue? We'll say 30% plus 5%, 30% is thrice of 10%, 10% of this is 204.8, right? So 30% is thrice, that we'll say is 612 something, 613 something, and 5% is half of 10%, let's say 102, right? So 613 and 102, 613 and 102, 615, 715, right? We'll say this is 715 something. Okay. So guys, don't you think that 540 is far less than 715, right? So how can this be the answer, right? This can definitely not be the answer. Means 540 is definitely less than 35% is. That means 540 cannot be in the range of 35% to 40%. So definitely 94-95 is not the right answer, right? We can just say that 94-95 just cannot be the right answer. Okay. Hope this is clear. Let's work on the next year, 95-96. Okay. 95-96, the total revenue is 2126. Let's see what is the 35% of this, total revenue, right? So 2126, let's again do the same thing, 30% plus 5%. Now guys, 30% of this, you see that is 636, right, which is more than 600. We don't even need to check further. 30% is 636 and 5% is 106. So 636 and 106 is 742, approximately 742. Obviously 600 is less than 35%, so this also cannot be in the range of 35 to 40%, so cannot be the right answer. Hope it is clear to the people who are watching, right? Guys, if there is any doubt, you can write down in the chat, okay? Even after, let's say you're not watching the live class, you're watching the recording, and then you are getting any doubt, then also, you can write in the comment box. I will be really happy to clear your doubts, right? I always appreciate your doubts, whether in comment or in any form. Okay, next year, 96-97. So 2500, guys, what is 35% of this? 30% is 750, 5% is 125, it should be 875. And look at this, the sales of hardware export is 730, which is less than 35% obviously. So this also should not be the part of the answer. All right, look at the second last year, okay, total sales is 5048. What is 35% of this? 30 plus 5. 30% will say 504 is 10% into 3 is 15, 12 or 13, 14 something, right? Let's say 15, 14. 15, 14 and 5% is 252, right? So what I said, 30% is 15, 14 something and 5% is, we'll say 252. That sum gives you how much? 1766, right? It's 1766 so far. So 35% is 1766. And you see that this is 1770, right? So this is slightly more than 35%, right? So this can be the part of the answer. And 40%, if you calculate, guys, 40% is, see, that will be 10 into 4% means you will say what? 2000 something, right? We'll say 2016 or 18 something, right? So obviously this is less than 1770 is less than 2018. So obviously 1770 is greater than 35% and less than 40%. So yes, this sales is actually in the range of 35 to 40%. So this should be the part of the answer. So this is the first year in which all the conditions are, satisfying. All right. Last year, guys, 98-99, the total revenue is 4847 and the hardware export revenue is 1827. Again, let's see the revenues of 35% and 40% one by one. So 35% will do the same, 30% plus 5%. 30% is what? Thrice of 10% means 484 into 3. That should be how much? Approximately, guys, it should be, we'll say 30% is what? Let's see, 484 into 3, right? So you can say 500 minus 16. That means 1500 minus 48, right? So 1452. 1452 is 30%. 5% you will say half of 10%, which means 242, right? And that gives how much? 1694, right? Or 95 approximately would work. So we can say 35% is 1694, all right? And you see this sales is definitely more than 1694. That means definitely more than 35%. One thing at least, satisfying. The second data, 40%. So what should be the 40% of this? 484 into 4, right? So again, we will say 500 minus 16. So Forza will be 2000 minus 64, right? 2000 minus 64 should be 1936, right? So yes, 1827 is definitely less than 1936. So guys, you can say few things for sure, that the sales 1827 is greater than 1694 and less than 1936, right? So yes, this is also, in the range of 35 to 40%, greater than 35% and less than 40%. So it is also, this year is also one of the answers which is satisfying the given condition. So there are only 2 years which are satisfying the conditions. Number one is 98-99, number two is 98-99, right? So among the option, if you see, option number 1 is the one, option number A is the one which is satisfying, right? 97-98 and 98-99, and this is how we can say option A should be, the right answer, right, guys? Hope that's clear to each one of you. All right, and this is how we can try the next question on this, right? All right, next question is very interesting, guys. Okay, look at the next problem. The next problem is what? It says that if in 1999-2000 the total revenue earned by fee stream decreases by 5% from the previous year, but the revenue from software increases to 2437 crores, then what is the approximate percentage decrease in the combined revenue from the rest of the heads excepting the software in 1999-2000? Okay. First thing, the data which is given in the beginning, that is up to 98-99, right? But in this question, they are talking about 99-2000, right? So they are saying if in 99-2000, the total revenue earned by fee stream decreases by 5%, okay? The total revenue is decreasing by 5% from the previous year, right? But the revenue from software increases to this. And then what is the approximate percentage decrease in the combined revenue from the rest of the heads excepting the software? By the way, it's not increasing, it should be decreases, right? This is something wrong written by mistake. This should be decreases, number one thing. Okay, now let's go back to the table. In 90, they are saying what in the next year? The total revenue is decreasing by, 5%, right? The total revenue is decreasing by 5%, all right? So we can say, where is the total revenue? There is the total revenue, right? This should decrease by 5%. Okay, we'll see that, right? And what next? They are saying that the revenue from the software decreases to 2437, right? Revenue from the software. By the way, what is the revenue from softwares? So revenue from software, you can say, is this one, right? So here in 98-99, the revenue from software is how much? This is, you see that 26 something, right? And next year it is being how much? The next year it became 2437. So definitely it is decreasing. It's not increasing, it is decreasing. Number one thing, right? Okay, now the question is that what is the percentage decrease in the combined revenue from the rest of the heads excepting the software, right? Okay, very interesting problem, guys. See, if I write first of all the revenue from the software, or let me do one thing. Let me write it all again in this particular slide. Okay, so we have the data from 1998-99, and the second data is of 1999 and 2000, right? Okay, let's write here the revenue from the software. First thing, revenue of the software, then the revenue from the other heads, and the last, not the least, the total revenue, right? Total revenue. Okay. So guys, revenue from the software, if you just look at the revenue from the software, right? So what is happening in that? Uh, just a second. All right, so I was talking about the revenue from the software, right? So revenue from the software in 98, 99, first of all, if you add all of all of that, this should be 2600 plus 37, right? 22 plus 15 is 37. So 2637, right? Let's write it here, 2637. And next year it has decreased to 2437, right? Next year it has decreased to 2437. Now what about the total revenue? Total revenue here is 4847, right? It is 4847. So let's write it here, it's 4847, and next year they are saying that it has decreases by 5%, right? 4847 has decreases by 5%. So what it should be, guys, if it's decreasing by 5%, so either we can do what? Either we can, find out the total value of this, or we can just work on the change, and it will be easy if you're working only in the change. Let me show you how. Okay, see guys, it is decreasing by 5%. What is 5% of this? 5% you can say 10% is by 2, and what is 10% of this? 10% you can say is 484.7, right? 484.7. Now half of this is how much? We'll say 242.35, okay? So it is decreasing by 242.5, right? Okay, now the software decreases by how much? You can see that software is definitely decreasing, right? And it's decreasing how much, by the way? Okay, this is 2437, there it was 2637. You can check it again. Yes, this is 2637. So this is decreasing by 200 exactly, right? This is decreasing by 200. So what about the other heads? So first, we can say one thing that other head says, decreasing or increasing. See guys, the total is decreasing by 242.35. And the software is decreasing by 200. That means other head should also decreases, right? So how much is it decreasing? It is decreasing by 242.35 minus 200. That means it is decreasing by 42.35, all right? This must be decreasing by 42.35. And what is the revenue of the other heads, by the way? Of the other heads, you can do what? You can say total revenue minus the software revenue, right? That must be the other heads revenue. So that should be how much? 4847 minus this gives us 2210, right? This gives us 2210. So the revenue from the other heads is 2210 and is decreasing by how much? 42.35. So now we just have to find the percentage decrease in the combined revenue from the rest of the heads, right? And what about the rest of the heads? We have found a lot of data about the rest of the heads, right guys? We have found the decrease in the rest of the heads, and we have also found the original value of the revenue of the heads in 98, 99, right? So what is the basic formula of the percentage decrease, or basic way of finding percentage decrease? We always say percentage decrease is decrease upon initial value, right? Into 100, right? Into 100 is we multiply 100 if and only if it is extremely required, right? Otherwise, we can avoid multiplying 100 as well. If options are supportive, we can avoid multiplying 100 as well. Okay, let's see how much we have to calculate. The decrement first of all is 42.35, right? And the initial value here is, you see, it is 2210, all right? So we just have to check that 42.35 is what percentage of 2210, right? That's the only thing which we have to do. 42.35 is what percentage of 2210. Okay, now guys, look at the options. The options are 1%, 1.8, 2.1, 3.3. Options are very close, right? So it would be better if we just multiply by 100, okay? Let's not take risk. So if we multiply by 100, what shall we have? We can say we have 4235 divided by 2210, right? 2210. Okay, so you can see that this is approximately, 2%, you can say that, right? Because 2210 should be 420, right? This is approximately, we'll say, just a sec, this is 200, this is 42.35, yeah, that's correct. And what, this one is 2210, is this correct? Yes, that is also correct. So guys, yes, we can say this is approximately 2%, right? So the best option here must be 2.1, okay? If you calculate, you will find it more. This is approximately 2%. Or you can do one thing, we can also, calculate it further if you want, right? If you have to calculate more, so what shall we say? So this is going first 1 times only. I know it's not going 2 times, but it will be approximately 2, right? Okay, it goes 1 time, and then the remainder should be how much? We'll say the remainder is 2025, okay, 2025. Now, following 0 and this there, we'll put 9 first of all, right? So, 2210, 9 times is how much? Okay, we'll say this is 90 first of all, and this should be 198, right? The next remainder should be, we'll say, 40 and 340, right? We'll say this has to be 340. Okay. Now, one more 0 and 3400, right? So this will be 1 point, we'll say, just a sec, 1 is there, right? 1 and then again 3, 9. Okay, it's 340, that's correct, right? Again a 0, so it's going 191 something, because 2210, 1 will be 2210, right? We can say that. Okay, so yes, it's going 1 time, so I think we can take option B as the best option, right? Option B is getting closer. Right guys, I'm sure you will agree with me that option B is getting closer. Answer is being approximately 1.91%, right? And with this, option B is getting, close. So we'll say yes, option B is the right answer, alright? Hope this is clear to each one of you. It was a tricky one, the calculation was too much, but these kind of questions can also appear, alright guys? Alright. Alright guys, let's move to the next problem now, right? In the same set, the next problem is also a tricky one, right? Okay, this says that in how many years during the given period was the total revenue from training and maintenance less than 10% of the total revenue for the corresponding years? Alright, again a good question. They're saying in how many years during the given period the total revenue from training and maintenance is less than 10% of the total revenue for the corresponding years, right? Okay, so training and revenue should be less than 10% of the total revenue of corresponding years, right? Training and maintenance. Alright guys, look at the table now. Training and maintenance is where? This is training, this is maintenance, alright? So not that difficult indeed. Training and maintenance, guys, you can do it without, calculating, without writing much. This year, training and maintenance is how much? You see that this is 161, alright? And the total revenue is 2048. So what is 10% of 2048? Obviously 204.8. And 161 is definitely less than 204.8. That means definitely less than 10%, right? So yes, 94, 95 is definitely, satisfying the condition, because they are saying what? Let's see it again. They are saying that the revenue should be less than 10% of the total revenue. So this year, first year is definitely satisfying, all right? Next year, guys, the revenue from training and maintenance is being 125, and 10% of this is 212.6, so definitely less than 10%, right? Next year, the total revenue from training and maintenance is 185, and 10% of total revenue is 250. So this is also less than 10%, we can say that. This year, it's 240 plus 92 is 332, and 10% is 504. So again, less than 10%, we can say that. And this year, this is being 200 something, 287, and 10% of this is 484.7. So this year also, the revenue from training and maintenance is less than 10% of the total revenue. So that means in all these 5 years, we can say that the revenue from training and maintenance is less than 10% of the total revenue, right? So the answer has to be all the 5 years. That means we'll say answer is option number D, right? Because this condition is being satisfied in all the 5 years. All right, simple problem. I'm sure this must be clear for you to understand, right? Now let's move to all right, I think this question has one more. This set has one more, question to discuss, right? Okay, let's see the last problem of the set. It says what? In which of the following years was the revenue from hardware business more than 50% of that from the software business done by fee stream? Okay, interesting. Let's see that they are saying in which of the following years the revenue from hardware business more than the software business, more than 50% of that from the software business done by fee stream. Revenue from the hardware business more than 50% of that from the software business. Okay, so they are saying the revenue from hardware, right? Hardware business should be at least 50% or more than 50% of the revenue from the software business, right? It should be more than 50% of the software, not then the, right? They are not saying this is the percentage increase. They are saying that the revenue from hardware business should be more than 50% of the revenue from the software business, right? So hardware business with respect to software business should be, more than 50%. That is the thing which they are saying, right, guys? Okay, not very difficult. We can also say what? If this is more than 50%, 100 you can take here, right? So we can say hardware business upon software business, right, should be more than 50 upon 100. That means half, right? Simple. So hardware business should be more than half of the software business. This is what they are saying, right? Hardware business should be more than half of the software business. Let's look at the option one by one. Hardware should be more than half of the software business. So how we can do that? See, in 1994-95, hardware business in all is how much? This is 540 plus 68 makes it 608, right? And software business is how much? We'll say it has to be 1242, right? So is this more than half? Actually, no, guys. Hardware is 608, software is 1242. Half of 1242 is 621, and this is only 608. So this is not more than half, right? So that means 94-95 is not satisfying the condition, of the problem, right? Look at the next year, 95-96. The hardware business is how much? 654. And what about the software business? That gives you 1327, right? Is it more than half or not? Actually, no. See, the half of this should be, we'll say 663.5, right? And this is being 654, so this is also not more than 50%. Next year, guys, this should be how much? We'll say this should be 782, and this is how much? We'll say this is 1489, right? So is this more than half? Again, no, right? The half of this is 744.5, and this is 782. So yes, this is more than half, right? This is satisfying. So year 96, 97 is having more than half. That is satisfying, right? We can say that. Next year, the total software businesses, total hardware business, how much? We'll say 1800 and adding these two, 1836, right? Yes, 36. And total software business is how much? We'll say 2880, 2820, right? We can just say that. Now, half of 2820 is 1410, right? And is it satisfying? Is it more than 1410? Yes, it is. So this year also we can say the hardware business is more than half of the software business, right? Okay, the last year, the hardware business is how much, guys? We'll say 1827 plus 35. That makes us how much? 1825, 60, 62, right? This should be 1862. And what about the software business? Software business is 2637, right? 2637, right? So is it satisfying? Is it more than half? Yes, it is. Half of 2637 is 1318, and this is definitely more than 1318. So yes, last 3 years are satisfying this condition, right? So we can say in 3 years, 96, 97, 97, 98, 98, 99, this is satisfying. Let's see which option is the best. So, okay, I quantity the options because 3 years are satisfying, right? So the best option should be none of these, right? Because we know that 96 from 6 to 98 all are satisfying. We just discussed from 96, 97, 8, 98, 99, all three are satisfying. So the best answer here has to be option D, none of these, right? Okay, I hope this is understood to each one of you, right? Everyone just let me know if this is clear or not in the chat. All right, so guys, that was the second set of the session, right? So we have covered two sessions today as well, right? One you can say slightly easy and one was challenging. So this is where I would like to end today's live class as well. I hope you guys enjoyed, learning these two sets. In the next session, we'll be coming up again another with another pair of sets, and we'll try our best to make give you the quality content through this YouTube lives. All right, this is all for the day, guys. I would like all of you to write your feedbacks in the comment as well, so that we get to know that if we can do something else for you. If you like the session, also write about the session. And yes, thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.